Hello, my lovely viewers. You are welcome again to another Capital ICT. Viewers, in our previous lesson, we looked at input devices. And input devices falls under hardware components of the computer system. We talked about two categories of input devices, and in that lesson, we looked at one group, which is these two answers are correct. Viewers, I believe we were all able to do the assignment and you had all the answers right. Now let's move to today's topic on data entry input devices. Let's begin by looking at our lesson objectives, what I want you to achieve at the end of the lesson. At the end of the lesson, you'll be able to explain what data entry input devices are. 2. Give 4 examples of data entry input devices. And then 3. Mention the main function of data entry input devices. So if we all go through this lesson, you'll be able to explain what data entry input devices are. Give 4 examples of data entry input devices, and then mention the main function of data entry input devices. Good. Now let's refresh our minds again on what an input is. And we said that input is any data and instruction entered into the memory of a computer. Input is any data and instruction entered into the memory of a computer. Now, we know what input is in the previous lesson and we have refreshed our mind. So, in that previous lesson, I gave an example of taking in water into our body system. And that is what data entry input devices are. So all the devices that we are going to talk about today, they put something into the computer system. So what are data entry input devices? This is an input device that creates machine readable data and feeds it directly into the computer. In some of our previous lessons, I explained that when you look at your keyboard, we have the English alphabet on your keyboard. We have numbers on your keyboard. We have symbols on your keyboard. The computer does not understand the characters that you see on the keyboard. If I type my name, I see it as English alphabet, but the computer translates it into machine language. And we said that these machines are digital in nature, so they operate by using zeros and ones, and that is what we call binary numbers. So if I type A on the keyboard, I see it as A, but the computer represents the A with binary numbers. So we are saying that this is an input device that creates machine readable data. So any data that I feed, this input device is able to translate it into a machine readable data and then feed it into the computer system. So whatever you see the person typing here, this keyboard will translate it into a machine readable language before you also see it here. So that is what the input device does. They feed in data. They translate it first before they feed in the data for you to see. Now let's look at some examples of data entry. As you hear the name data entry, the first category of input devices, they don't feed data into the system for processing to take place. They help you to interact and then choose item and trigger certain actions. But these kinds of input devices, they feed data to the computer system so that the machine, upon the instructions given by the user, the machine can process the data and bring out information for you to see. So let's look at the examples of data entry. So remember that any device that we talk about, you look at what that data sent to the computer system for processing. The first one is keyboard. And in the previous lesson, we said that the mouse and the keyboard are the most popular input device. So the mouse serves as a pointing device that helps us to interact with the computer system, and the keyboard feed data into the computer system. So they are input devices, but they serve different roles. So let's look at the keyboard as a data entry input device. Keyboard, this is the most common data entry input device used to input text, numbers, and instructions into the computer. It is the most common data entry input device used to input text, numbers, and instructions into the computer system. Some computer systems may have keypad. The keypad contains only numbers. The keypad contains only numbers, just like the calculator, they contain only numbers. But the keyboard is alphanumeric. When we say alphanumeric, it means that it contains both alphabets and numbers. So you see that this keyboard, the user is putting data into the computer system, and then you see it here. This means that if I press P, if I press R, if I press E, the computer changes, the keyboard changes the things or the alphabet I'm punching here into a machine language before I can see it here. So that is what they do. They feed in data into the computer system for processing, and the keyboard is one of the most common input devices. Keyboards are mainly used to input data into application software, and they are also used to type commands into the computer system. So when we talk about application, when we talked about the components of the computer system, we mentioned software, and we said that softwares come in two forms. We have the system software and application software. The application softwares are used to perform specific tasks. They are used to perform specific tasks. And we use this keyboard mainly to key in data into application software like Microsoft Word, like CorelDRAW, like PowerPoint, like Excel. We use the keyboard to do most of the job in this application software. We also use it to type in commands. For example, you have keyboard shortcuts. So if I want to close a program, I can press the shift key on my keyboard or the alt key and then F4. If I want to close a program, I'll press alt key at the same time press F4 on my keyboard. If I finish typing and I want to save whatever I've typed, if I press F12 on my keyboard, it will bring the Save As dialog box for me to save. And that is the command. I can use the keyboard to give command to the computer system. I can use the keyboard to give command. If I want to copy any text, I can press Ctrl+C. If I want to print a document, I can press Ctrl key and the P on my keyboard at the same time. These are commands. So either we use it to type data into applications or we give it commands. Now let's look at another. So we are done with the keyboard, and as I said, any device that comes, we look at what they send to the computer system. So with the keyboard, they send text to the computer system, and they also help us to give command to the computer system. So they feed text or numbers into the computer system, or they feed commands into the computer system. That is what they do. Now the next one is scanner. So scanners are used to enter information from hard copy, either text document or photograph, into the computer. So what work does the scanner do? They send soft copies into the computer. So if I have a hard copy of a document or a photograph, I can use the scanner to convert it into a soft copy. Hard copy is what you can see and hold, especially on any medium like a film or a paper. Soft copy is what you see on your screen. So you see an animal here. That's an example what the scanner does. You have a mouse here and it scans, and you see the mouse here. That is what a scanner does. If I have a paper here, it will scan, and I have the same thing here. And today in the digital world, we use the scanner to convert most of our important documents and then keep it. For example, if you have been to school, your certificate, your transcript, all valuable document can be scanned, and you can even send it into your email as a backup. You can scan and keep it on a storage media like a pen drive or a memory card. So gone are the days when you lose some documents and you lose it forever. Because of scanners, you can convert them into soft copy and then keep them. Anytime you need them, you can go and then print it out. Because if it's the document is in color, it will scan and it will give you the same thing. If it's a black and white, you will scan and get the black and white. So if you print it, either color or black and white, you will get it. So gone are the days you lose hard copy documents forever. These days you can scan them and then keep them on a storage media. So the scanners enter soft copy information into the computer from a hard copy. That is what the scanner does, either a text document or a photograph. These days, if you are applying for a school or any job, you can even scan your certificate and then send it to the employer or the school administration. So that is what the scanner does. They scan and then give you a soft copy that you can keep. The most popular scanner that we see is the flatbed. This is called a flatbed scanner. This is called the flatbed, and it operates by a light source that generates a computer image. So you put the document there and the light source will operate, and then it will produce for you a computer generated image. So scanners feed in soft copies of hard copy documents into the computer system. These days, with other application softwares, if they are test documents, you can even edit them. If they are photographs, you can even edit them and make it very nice, even than the hard copy that you scanned. The next one, we have digital camera, video camera, and web camera. Normally, the full name is web camera, and we shorten it as webcam. So what do these input devices also do for us? Let's start with the digital camera. This is a mobile device that allows users to take pictures and store them digitally. So the digital camera sends pictures into the computer system. Data entry input devices. What data is the digital camera sending to the computer system? Pictures. So the digital camera send pictures, data entry, they send pictures into the computer system. And you can store them on a memory card. So most digital cameras are having memory cards inside that stores the data. In the olden days, we were using this microfilm. That is what they will go and then they will say, we are going to watch the pictures. Sometimes they will bring it and then you may not even like it. These digital cameras have screens. So when immediately they take the picture, they can even show it to you, whether you like it or not, before they will even go and then print it out. And those pictures can be stored on a memory card. So digital cameras feed pictures to the computer system. Data entry. What data do they enter into the computer system? They enter pictures into the computer system. Let's look at video camera. Video camera is also used for the recording of electronic videos. These videos are also stored on a memory card. These days, because of nanotechnology, video cameras are even reduced onto our cell phones or mobile phones. In the olden days, you see big video cameras on the shoulders of these media men. Today, you can just use your small smartphone to capture videos and they will be nice. So they send moving pictures or videos into the computer system. That is what video cameras do as input devices, specifically data entry input devices. They record electronic videos. Webcam is a camera that connects to a computer and it captures still pictures or motion video. They are also used to make video calls. So when you take a web camera, most laptops come with web cameras here at the top here where the laser pointer is. You see your camera here on your laptop. If your laptop does not come with a web camera, then you can buy one and then install it here, put it here, and then you connect it through the USB to your system. And you can use this for video calls, you can use this to take pictures, you can use this to take videos of whatever is happening around. And because of the internet connectivity, these days you can capture images and then transmit them live. And as you say, with the aid of a software, you can transmit the video on the internet in real time as it is happening. So assuming they are playing a tournament, let's say a World Cup, this year's World Cup will be in Qatar. How many people will be there? You all watch it from the comfort of our homes. As they are playing the ball live, we will also be watching, because these cameras feed in a computer system with whatever is going on, the video coverage, and because of internet softwares, we can also watch them live at our homes. So they will use a video camera to capture the match as it is going on, and because with the aid of a software, they will transmit it live for us to watch. So you see how video cameras feed in information to the computer system, or data to the computer system. They capture it, and then with the aid of a software, we can watch it live with the use of the internet. The next one is microphone. Microphone. What comes to your mind before we even mention it? What data do you think microphones send to the computer system? What data do you think microphones send to the computer system? Yes, I heard sound. Very good. So microphone allows computer users to input audio into their computer system. That is sound. Anything about audio is sound. So that is what the microphone does. It helps us to input audio into the computer system. So data entry. What data does the microphone send to the computer system? Audio. So that is the use of the microphone. They send audio to the computer system. They don't control a pointer on the screen. They send a particular data to the computer system, and that is audio. The next one is touch screen. Touch screen. This word, most of the time, as I hear people mispronouncing it, it's touch screen, not screen touch. If you want to know the correct form, just form a sentence with the word touch the screen. Do you say touch the screen or screen the touch? So the correct form is touch screen. So touch screens serve as input device as well as output device. Touch screen is a computer display screen that is also used as an input device. All screens are output devices. They show us something from the computer system. But when you talk about touch screens, they also serve as input devices. The screen is pressure sensitive. It's pressure sensitive. A user interacts with the computer by touching pictures or words on the screen, either with a finger or a stylus. So most of the smartphones we are using today are full screens which are touch. They have on-screen keyboard. So through the touch screen, we are able to key in information into the text, into the computer system. When you are sending message on WhatsApp or Telegram or Snapchat, you use the on-screen keyboard to type text or numbers into the computer system, and the touch screen becomes a data entry input device. The touch screen becomes data, and because you don't use a physical keyboard, you use the touch, the pressure sensitiveness of the touch to key in data into the computer system. So the touch screen is also a data entry input device. You can either use your finger or the stylus, also known as the pen. Some laptops also come with touch screens, and they come with the stylus or the pen for you to input data into your system. We also have the graphics tablet or the digitizer. The graphics tablet. A graphics tablet is used with a digital pen to produce handheld drawings. So this is the graphics tablet, and that's the digital pen. They are used by artists, those who are into drawings. They connect this to a computer, as you see the lady, the small girl here drawing. So you draw, you connect the graphics tablet to your computer system. So you see the connection, you see the cable here, you see the cable here. So the cable is here, connected to the graphics tablet. And then if it connects, then you use the digital pen to draw on the graphics tablet, this area, and then the drawing will appear on your screen as a computer generated drawing. That is how it works. The images produced are stored digitally as a file on the computer. So you see this person too also using a graphics tablet, and then whatever you write here comes here. So this helps you to feed the computer with handheld drawings. With the graphics tablet, as I told you, all the devices that we are talking about today feed in certain data to the computer system. So when the device comes to mind, you think about what it sent into the computer system. And the graphic tablet send in handheld drawings into the computer system, and you can store them as digital files. The next one is driving wheel. Driving wheel. And what do we use this driving? It's like a car part. That is, you see the steering wheel, you see the gear, you see the paddles, or the pedals, sorry. Then let's look at the driving wheel. This is a control device for use in racing video games, racing simulators, and driving simulators. When you hear simulation, it's something that imitates the real world. Without simulations, it will be very difficult for people to learn how to drive, for people to learn how to pilot airplanes. Because if I don't know how to fly an airplane, and I need to get into the airplane and then start practicing by flying, what will happen? I will crash the plane. So they use simulators. You have a big screen that they connect this driving wheel that you drive on the screen. So let's look at an example. This is how it looks like. So you sit on your chair, and then there will be a car on your screen. So this is a car on your screen. You start the car. These are your pedals, and then your steering wheel, your gear, and then you drive on the screen. So most driving schools today are using the driving wheel as a practice for driving. So you drive before they send you on the real road. So if you go to some of the driving schools in Accra, in Kumasi, in Cape Coast, you will have Cape Coast routes or Accra routes or Kumasi routes, and you will be driving on them. You reach a traffic, what will you do? You stop. When the traffic shows green, you move. You'll be doing all that on the screen before they send you to the real road, and that is what we call simulation. You imitate the real world situation. The same applies to flying an aircraft. You simulate before you go to the real aircraft, and the driving will help you to drive. You feed in data into the system. So if I press the accelerator, if I press the brake, if I use the clutch, something must happen. I'm feeding in data into the system. So this is an example. So this person is comfortably learning how to drive at home. Comfortably. And then you can also use this in racing games. So you'll be driving the car, steering wheel, everything. So it will help you to learn how to handle the steering wheel, how to use the pedals, and the rest. So driving wheel is also a data entry input device. The next one are sensors. Sensors. And what does sensors do? Sensors are input devices that record data about the physical environment around them and send them to the computer for processing. Sensors. So there's a sensor here, and the sensor, most of them operate with waves. So this is a security system. Nobody should trespass this place. Immediately you trespass, it will send a signal, an input into the computer system, and then it will process it. And then if somebody trespass my property, what should happen? An alarm must start sounding. So sensors also input data into the computer system. They input data into the computer, but from the physical environment. From the physical environment. So sensors are also data entry input devices. They take information from the environment and feed in the data into the computer system. The next one is dance mat. Dance mat. And what do we use the dance mat for? This is a special kind of input device for video games meant to be danced upon. So we use this to learn how to dance. Some people use the dance mat to learn how to dance. So we have some arrows here. We have some arrows on the dance mat. So whatever you connect this dance mat to your computer system. So whatever movement you do here, feed in some data into your movement into the computer system. So they also feed in some kind of movement made by you on the dance mat to the computer system. Maybe if it's a game, the steps that, for example, this cartoon here is making is the same step I have to make on this dance mat. If I make any wrong step, it will tell me. So your movements feed in some data into the computer system. Good. Viewers, we are almost at the end of the lesson, and today we looked at data entry input devices. Input devices that feed data into the computer system. The first group we talked about the last time, they help us to interact with the computer system, help us to control the pointer on the screen. But with data entry input devices, they feed in data. So each input device here sends some kind of data to the computer system. So we looked at the keyboard. The keyboard sends text and numbers and commands into the computer system. The scanner converts hard copy documents or pictures and make them soft copy and send it into the computer system. Microphone send sound or audio information into the computer system. A digital camera send pictures into the computer system. A video camera send motion pictures, that is videos, into the computer system. The web camera sends both pictures and videos into the computer system. The touch screen also sends text or numbers into the computer system when you are using your on-screen keyboard. The graphics tablets, we use it for drawing, so they send freehand drawings into the computer system, or handheld drawings into the computer system. The driving wheel, we use it to learn or simulate how to drive, and by so doing, using the steering wheel, using the gear, using the pedals, send information into the computer system to move the car. So if I put it in gear 1, and then if it's a manual gear, and then press on the clutch, release it small, come to the accelerator, then I'm sending information into the computer system that the car should start moving. So they also send information into the computer system. We have the sensors. They collect information from the physical environment and send it to the computer system. Dance mat, we normally use this to learn how to dance or use it in games. So what information does the dance mat send? Movement. Your movement send information into the computer system, and we already talked about the driving wheel. So these are examples of data entry input devices. Each of them send a particular data to the computer system for processing to take place. Now viewers, let's test ourselves as usual before we leave. 1. The most common means by which data are input into the computer is through the most common means by which we put data into the computer. We have scanner, we have joystick, we have keyboard. Good. The answer is keyboard. So keyboard is the most common means we input data into the computer system. 2. Sensors can be used for detecting all the following except sensors can be used to detect all the following except we have time, we have weight, we have movement. Time, weight, movement. Good. The answer is time. There are some sensors that are installed near doors. If a weight goes on that sensor, the door will open. Some movement also trigger certain actions for some sensors. So the answer is time. 3. The device that enables one to photocopy a text or picture into a computer is the device that converts or makes exact copy of a picture into the computer system. You have printer, you have scanner, you have touch screen. Good. The answer is scanner. So scanner makes a photocopy of a text or picture into the computer system. 4. Which device allows you to enter data and instructions into a computer? Which device allows you to enter data and instructions into a computer? We have communication device, we have input device, we have output device. Good. The answer is input device. Good. 5. Which input device is used for input text, numbers, and commands to the computer? So of all the input devices that we talked about today, which one input text, numbers, and commands to the computer? You have scanner, you have keyboard, you have graphics tablet, or digitizer. Good. Keyboard. Good. Viewers, you have all done well, and I believe you enjoyed the lesson on data entry input devices. Before we leave, as usual, let's take this assignment and work on it. 1. What are data entry input devices? 2. Give 4 examples of data entry input devices. 3. State the main function of data entry input device, the main function of data entry input devices. I'll give you some few minutes to put this assignment down. Hello viewers, you are welcome back, and I believe you are all able to put the assignments down. Today we looked at data entry input devices that assist computer users to feed data into the computer system for processing to take place. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and until we meet again next time for another ICT lesson, this is your instructor, Ernest Ato Benzel. Bye-bye.